Thermax has been into existence for the last 6 decades. However, they find themselves into a very unique space, just like any other corporates, as they align themselves with India's Sustainable Development Goals, first for 2030 and then for 2070. They have a lot of green energy products in their portfolio, and they are planning to partner with the clients as they move towards energy transition. We have with us Meher Pudumjee, the chairperson of Thermax Group, with us today. Ma'am, we are aware about the business that Thermax has been doing for the last 55 years. But how do you see in the current changing scenario the next 20 years or 10 years for your company? What is your vision for that?
So first of all, thanks for having me here. So Thermax has always traditionally been in energy and environment. It's something that we truly believe in right from the time that the company started. And our tagline at that time was conserving energy, preserving the environment. So we've continued with that. Today we've shifted it a bit to conserving resources, preserving the future. And so Thermax has always been into industrial utilities. So providing clean air, clean water, clean energy to some extent. But today we're putting, with the climate change, with the sustainable development goals, and what's happening to our planet, we are genuinely trying to see how do we move the organization to think in terms of how do we make things far more efficient so that we reduce CO2. How do we continue our journey on energy and environment, but how do we move into newer areas as well, which is renewable energy. So we're looking at wind, we're looking at solar, again for industrial and commercial clients. So for our own industry customers, how do we bring them into a group captive and provide them with solar, wind, as well as hybrid solutions. So that's one area that we're looking to grow. The second is we're looking to grow on build, own, operate for our heating systems, for our water systems. So how do we put up plants which are completely green or clean, and how do we sell it as a service? So how do we sell heat instead of sell steam instead of selling a boiler? Or how do we sell clean water instead of selling a water treatment or a wastewater treatment plant? So we're looking at these aspects in terms of the build, own, operate. So this forms our green solutions business. The second is we're looking at industrial infra, which is mainly our large projects. Again, how can we look at them in a much more cleaner and greener manner? So we saw one example over here, which was Flexi Source, which is a boiler that today can operate on 140 different types of solid fuels. So with a digital platform, the customer can actually say that I want to burn this, 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 and this together. How can I do it in the most efficient manner? So we've got a solution for that with a lot of environment products in order to clean the air that comes out from the boiler. So like that, we're moving. In our industrial products, we're looking to see again, how can we supply clean heat, clean water, clean air. So, in every bit of our industry today, everybody in the company is thinking clean, thinking green, thinking more energy efficient.
So next 10 years, what you're saying is that it's going to be mostly focused on green, basically,
Absolutely.
as sustainability becomes the business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Green, recycle, how do we look at waste to value? So we're looking at all those areas right now. Yeah.
So as you spoke about sustainability and your focus, so what is going to be the role and key theme that will be driving Thermax in coming years?
So we want to really be trusted partners for our customers. So earlier, there was a lot of product selling. Okay. Having said that, we were always application oriented as a company. So we would have a product, but we would look to see which application does it fit into in a customer's industry. Today, a lot of it, because it's so up in the air in terms of what will really succeed, in terms of green energy. We really don't know. Is it going to be hydrogen? How is bio-CNG going to go forward? How are solar and wind going to go forward? We really don't know. So in that case, we go to customers and say, you have a challenge. Can we help you to get rid of this challenge? Europe is going to come up with a carbon tax. We have to supply things from India. People are going to have to look to see how do we make it carbon neutral. So we have to work very closely with customers and partner with them to see how to get rid of their challenges. And that's really going to be our tagline also, which is to be a trusted partner in energy transition.
Yeah, you spoke about these 4 companies, bio-CNG, bioenergy, renewables, then on-site, and also your industrials. So in terms of these subsidiaries, how do they impact your overall performance, say, going ahead? If you cannot talk about numbers, at least in terms of, their performance impact on the company.
I think all of them are, first of all, growing. I think what is growing quite rapidly is our green solutions business. Having said that, that's the one that needs the maximum capex.
Right.
Yeah. So in some ways, it gets limited by the amount of capex that we put in from the company, because it's a build, own, operate. So we have to put in our own equity. Yeah. So, but that's all 4, whether it be chemicals, whether it be industrial infra, green solutions, or industrial products. All 4 are growing well right now. I think India is really doing well at the moment, which is, it's in a sweet spot, let's face it, compared to the rest of the world. And so there's a huge amount of internal consumption that's taking place, because of which there's a lot of capex coming in. Government is putting in policies for a lot of capex. There's the China +1 that's happening. So I think there's a lot that's actually happening in India. And our business is like a derived demand. So say, for example, the government spends on roads. If you spend on roads or any infrastructure, you need a lot of cement, you need a lot of steel. If cement and steel is needed, they need to put in capex. They come to people like us. So it's a derived demand. And India is doing well at the moment, yeah. So all 4 sectors that we have are doing well. People
are also talking about circular economy. So which of your projects will really help in creating that kind of circular economy, where?
Yeah, so because I think circular economy is again something that we have done quite a lot of always. Okay, so in fact, we go in to say, how do we look at your waste heat, and how do we bring value to the customer out of your waste heat? So that's like a circular. Okay, so I mean, just my favorite example is potato chip frying. Okay, so over there we went in and we saw that potato chips, when you fry them, there are fumes coming out. The fumes have heat and they have water vapor. So through our vapor absorption chiller, we use that heat to produce cooling, and we condense the water to give it back for potato cleaning. Yeah, so I mean, I am fascinated by my own people and very proud of the kind of applications that they come with, and so that's circular economy. If you look at bio-CNG, we're trying a circular economy there, where there is, on the one hand, there's huge amount of pollution. There are people who have respiratory problems because of that pollution. And it's also not very good for the soil, what they're doing in terms of burning stubble. So if we can take this stubble and we can actually put it in a digester, create bio-CNG, we are solving so many problems. What comes out of the digester, the digestate, can be used as manure, which helps the farmer. And of course, the gas that comes out can be used for mobility, so we don't have to import.
And also create briquettes.
We can create briquettes. So there's a lot. So many of our products and applications are constantly looking to say, how do we utilize waste and bring it back to create some value.
We also saw in the space of mobility where HVAC that you all have created.
Absolutely, yeah. The waste heat that is going to go from buses to produce cooling. And then, of course, for bio-CNG, we are also creating local employment. So I think the whole stakeholder approach with sustainability at the core, I think is where we are coming from.
Yeah, so most of these projects where you come up, big capex, large capex go into it, plus also requires a lot of rehabilitation plans and also community development plans. So what's your role there? What kind of community development activities you all have taken up, Because most of these areas also come up in rural areas, tribal areas.
Right. So, we've, first of all, we have 10 manufacturing locations across India. So through our CSR, we have projects for skill building around that area. So, for example, we've trained a lot of people to become welders, especially women welders. So we've tried to do that. We've tried to build, give them skills of becoming fitters, giving them skills of working in a chemical process industry. So we're trying out different skill sets, although I'm not very happy with it because I find that people still get 10, 12,000 rupees. How can we increase that to much more? And also, how can we get them to stay in an industry? They stay for 3, 4, 5 months and then quit. So we are working on that in order to match what they are really interested in with what is required in that community. So that's one type of project. Another very interesting project that we are doing right now is on it's called SOCO, which is Social Compact. And that we're doing within the company to see that we have so many unorganized workers at our sites. Yeah, migrant laborers. We have thousands of them working at sites. Can we look at, do they have decent places to stay in? Decent. Do they have toilet facilities which are decent, especially women? I mean, I feel bad that when I go to site, I've never really thought, is there a facility for a woman to use? A clean facility. Can we, which we spoke about earlier, can we help them to be aware of the various government entitlements that they should be, things that they should be entitled to, government schemes? So we're working on that. Can we look at gender parity in terms of salary? So if a man and a woman are doing the same job, can we make sure that we give their wages the same? Can we make sure the wages go on time? Very often a contractor subcontracts it to another contractor and we have given the money, but have the people on the ground actually got it on time? Have they got an agreement in place in a language that they understand so that they know that this is what is my agreement with the organization? So, little things like that we're trying to see, can we improve on?
Okay. Yeah. So one final question, or the second last question maybe. Everybody wants to know, like your mother has created this legacy for Thermax, very well carried forward by you. So what is going to be the next succession planning for Thermax, and who's be the most suitable candidate for taking it forward and ahead?
I don't know who will be the most suitable candidate, that I don't, but let me just step back a little bit and say that Thermax is a very professional organization. So we have non-family professionals that are running the organization on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so Ashish is running it and is whole and soul responsible for managing the organization. So we have separated ownership from management, okay, for our generation and the next generation who are also in the business today. Both Feroz and my daughter and son are in our business. They have also decided that they would like to separate ownership from management. So what do they need really? They need to understand the business enough for them to ask the right questions when they come onto the board of the company. They need to be responsible owners, as they themselves put it. Yeah, so they're both in Thermax right now. They both have different responsibilities way down the line. They're learning the ropes. And Feroz and I, of course, when they come home every evening, the talk now for all 5 of us, with my mother as well, is on business because we're all in it in that sense. But it's very nice to see that they, at least for the moment, they want to be a part of it. And but as I said, succession is, it's the family succession. But as I said, the business is run by very capable professionals, non-family professionals.
Okay. And one last question, overall, how do you see this business landscape to change in coming years? And what's the kind of potential you see for Thermax?
Oh, I mean, as I said, first of all, India is in a sweet spot right now, okay, which is great. I think our policies are in the right direction in terms of the country wants to look at being cleaner, greener. Having said that, as we've seen, coal is a major component as a fossil fuel, but Thermax has a technology to use that as well in terms of coal gasification. So I think Thermax is also in a very sweet spot. And I don't know if I can say everything will succeed, because that's not the way life is. But we are working on many, many different areas, and in some ways de-risking. So some will succeed, some may not succeed. But right now we're working on all the areas in terms of becoming a trusted partner for our customers in the energy transition space, in the recycle space, in the water space, in the pollution space, in the chemical space. I mean, the whole thing is so integrated as far as an industrial customer is concerned, that I think that's where we are really putting in all our efforts.
Thank you very much for talking to NDTV Profit. It was our pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.